Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. So in this video today we are going to be discussing the recent news circulating around about the Newcastle United owners putting in an application for more planning permission at Darsley Park. Now this is something that we were expecting to see, obviously, as you know, we are in a very respectable place and the league will be, possibly playing in the Champions League next season. And if not, then we will be playing in Europe next season. So we are going to need bigger facilities, better facilities at the training ground, at least until we can get a brand new facility away from Darsley Park. But until then, we have to do with what we've got at Darsley Park at the minute. And that is why the owners are trying to improve Darsley Park as much as they possibly can. Plus, once we do find a new training ground away from Darsley Park is then going to be given off to the underside and, of course, the women's team so that they can use Darsley Park. At least then that way, the building isn't being destroyed and we've wasted, money and resources building up a ground that's just going to end up being demolished. So it is going to, see benefits once we do move away from Darsley Park. But until then, we have to, do with what we've got at the training ground. And the owners, like I say, are doing their best with the funds available to push in to building up the training ground. Of course, this is one of the areas where FFP really doesn't affect with, and we've seen some fantastic improvements at the training ground in, only a year since the owners have come in. We've seen a bigger dressing room introduced at the training ground. We've seen hydrotherapy and plunge pools introduced at the training ground. We've also seen a state-of-the-art kitchen, upgraded offices, and a building extension, to name just a few things that we have seen. And this recent application that has been put in by the owners now explains the need for additional gym space and added offices. Right, in modern football, of course, demands the provision of bespoke, dedicated training facilities to enable teams to compete successfully at the highest nationally and internationally in the game. And of course, Newcastle submitted it earlier this month, but they're still waiting on the decision back from the council. In Newcastle had ecological impact assessments carried out at the training ground, of course, to make sure that there was no risk to any wildlife that, of course, might be around the training ground area. Of course, risk to bat rootings and what have you around the training ground as well. Obviously, all of them came back perfectly fine, and that is why we were able to continue on with the work that we have seen. But this is new work that is going to be done, and like I say, it's going to allow for a recruitment room, an altitude and climate room, so that's going to help the players perform better on the field, obviously help with recovery for the players as well. A second gym to allow for more players in there to get more exercise, and it's obviously all going to be rendered in black like we've seen with the recent training ground improvements. There's pictures up on screen, of course, of all of what I'm seeing here, and of course this is sort of in this similar mold to what was seen back in 2014 under the previous owner, when he was trying, of course, to do a similar thing by improving the ground a little bit, but then he never went with the idea, and we all know why he didn't go with the idea, but it would have improved we're moving forward, and that was something that he never wanted to do. But we have seen, of course, it hasn't cost that much money from the owners, about 2.7 million it's cost so far to just revamp the training ground, and there's been some massive improvements in there, like I say, the hydrotherapy and the plunge pools, the bigger dressing room, the state-of-the-art kitchen, upgraded training gear as well, upgraded offices and stuff. So for 2.7 million, that is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't cost a fortune to have a state-of-the-art training facility, and our owners have proven that. Looking at some of the pictures, from the plans that were written up by the previous owner, you can see a similar mould to what we are seeing with the owners, what we've got now. Obviously, there's more enhancements to the plans what were written up by, of course, the previous owner, but you can see, you know, by the images on screen where this new improvement is going to be made at the training ground. You can see, you know, that it's just a massive section of the training ground. And obviously, like I say, you know, eventually we will move away from Darsley Park, but when we do, the training ground here at Darsley Park is going to then be used by the under team, you know, the reserves. It's going to be used by the women's team, so it's not going to go to waste. It's not going to be demolished. You know, we're not going out there, we're not spending this money on a area, you know, in a building that is going to then just be completely destroyed once we find a new area to move our training ground to. So it is going to end up getting used by the reserves and the women's team. So it's nice to see, you know, the improvements that are being made, and I'm sure these improvements, once the approval from the council comes through for these new additions to the training ground, I'm sure these will look absolutely fantastic. But till next time, remember, hit that like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. How are the lads?